For this video, we treated fast food the same way most people don't have time to. Over several weeks, we ordered classic cheeseburgers from major fast food chains across the United States. No premium builds, no double patties, no signature sauces. Just the most basic cheeseburger each place offers. The one that's supposed to represent the brand at its simplest. We paid full price every time. We didn't customize orders. We didn't ask for fresh batches. We judged each burger on 3 things only: price, ingredient quality, and how it tastes in real life, not how it looks on a menu board. What stood out immediately is how many popular cheeseburgers feel like they're stuck in the past. They sell on habit, not improvement. We're starting with the weakest ones.
Number 10. Burger King Cheeseburger. Burger King has one of the strongest identities in fast food.
Flame-grilled beef is their entire promise. That's exactly why their basic cheeseburger is such a disappointment. The patty is extremely thin and often cooked too long. Any juiciness is gone before it reaches the tray. Instead of tasting like beef, the dominant flavors are salt and artificial smoke. The flame-grilled concept is technically there, but it's faint, inconsistent, and easily overwhelmed. The meat texture feels processed and uniform, with no variation from bite to bite. There's no moment where it feels rich or satisfying. It's beef-shaped protein, not a burger you enjoy eating. The bun makes things worse. It's overly soft, almost airy, and absorbs grease immediately. Within a few bites, it collapses, removing any structure from the burger. Instead of holding everything together, it turns into a soggy layer that adds bulk without benefit. The cheese rarely integrates into the burger. It often feels like it was placed there as an afterthought, partially melted, lacking flavor, and contributing more to thickness than taste. Combined with minimal toppings, the cheeseburger feels unfinished, like something missing its final step. Portion size is another issue. Even at a low price, the burger feels small and unsatisfying. You're done eating before your hunger is. There's no payoff, no lingering satisfaction, just the feeling that you ate something because it was there. This is a cheeseburger people order out of routine. Not because it's good, because it's familiar. And familiarity alone puts this firmly at the bottom. Number 9. Sonic Drive-In. Cheeseburger Sonic is a brand built around nostalgia, car hops, and drinks. Their cheeseburger feels like a supporting character that never became the main attraction. The bun is the first major problem. It's noticeably sweet, not slightly, but enough to dominate the bite. That sweetness immediately throws off balance and masks what little beef flavor exists. The patty itself is thin and lightly seasoned to the point of blandness. There's no savory depth, no richness, and no defining flavor. It doesn't taste bad. It just doesn't taste like much of anything. The cheese adds creaminess, but fails to elevate the burger. Instead of enhancing flavor, it blends into the background, making the entire bite feel flat and one-note. Texture is where this cheeseburger really struggles. Everything is soft. The bun, the patty, the cheese, the toppings. There's no contrast, no resistance, nothing to bite into. It feels mushy from start to finish, which makes the experience forgettable. Consistency is another major weakness. One visit might be acceptable, the next noticeably worse. That unpredictability makes it hard to trust Sonic for something as basic as a cheeseburger, especially when other chains deliver more reliable results. For the price Sonic charges, the value just isn't there. You're paying for convenience and nostalgia, not quality or satisfaction. This cheeseburger isn't offensive. It's worse than that. It's forgettable. And in fast food, being forgettable means you've already lost.
Number 8. White Castle Cheeseburger. White Castle is one of the oldest fast food burger chains in America, and that history defines everything about this cheeseburger, for better and for worse. The most obvious issue is size. A single White Castle cheeseburger is extremely small. It's not designed to be eaten alone, and that immediately puts it at a disadvantage in a one-to-one comparison. You're expected to order multiple sliders just to feel like you've had a meal. The patty is steamed rather than grilled, which removes any chance of crust or char. The texture is extremely soft, almost paste-like, with no resistance when you bite into it. There's no sense of beef structure, just softness. Flavor-wise, the onions dominate completely. They're cooked directly with the patty, so their sweetness and aroma overpower everything else. The beef becomes secondary, almost invisible, which is a major flaw for something called a cheeseburger. The bun is thin, damp, and fragile. It absorbs moisture quickly and doesn't provide structure. Everything blends together into a single texture and flavor profile, making each bite nearly identical to the last. The cheese adds salt and creaminess, but it doesn't fix the imbalance. It melts into the burger without creating contrast or depth. White Castle is not trying to compete on quality or satisfaction. It's selling nostalgia, tradition, and a very specific experience. And while that experience has its fans, judged purely as a cheeseburger, it lacks balance, substance, and value. Number 7. Dairy Queen Cheeseburger. Dairy Queen is a brand people associate with ice cream first and food second, and that mindset carries over into their cheeseburger. At first glance, the patty looks promising. It's thicker than many lower-ranked burgers, which suggests better value. But once you taste it, the limitations become clear. The beef is lightly seasoned and lacks depth. It's not unpleasant, just bland. The cooking is generally consistent, but the flavor doesn't develop beyond basic beefiness. There's no char, no richness, and no defining characteristic that makes it stand out. The bun is soft and slightly sweet, but relatively neutral. It holds together reasonably well and doesn't collapse immediately, which helps. Still, it doesn't add much beyond structure. The cheese melts properly and adds creaminess, but like the rest of the burger, it feels generic. It supports the bite without enhancing it. Where Dairy Queen really falls short is identity. This cheeseburger doesn't feel intentional. It feels like a menu requirement rather than a focus. There's no signature element, no balance that pulls everything together. For the price, it's acceptable. You won't regret eating it, but you also won't remember it. And in a category as competitive as fast food cheeseburgers, being forgettable is a serious weakness. Number 6. McDonald's Cheeseburger. McDonald's sets the global baseline for what a fast food cheeseburger is supposed to be. It's not ambitious, but it's extremely consistent. The patty is thin, but it's seasoned enough to deliver a recognizable beef flavor. There's a slight crispness around the edges when cooked correctly, which adds texture that many lower-ranked burgers lack. The bun is soft, lightly toasted, and reliable. It doesn't overpower the burger, and it holds everything together better than most competitors at this price point. The cheese melts evenly and becomes a defining part of the flavor. Combined with the pickles, onions, ketchup, and mustard, the burger achieves balance. Salty, tangy, savory, and slightly sweet. Texture-wise, McDonald's gets the fundamentals right. There's contrast between soft bun, melty cheese, and crisp pickles. Each bite feels intentional, even if it's simple. What keeps McDonald's from ranking higher is quality ceiling. The ingredients are clearly processed, and the burger lacks richness or depth compared to better chains. But as a baseline cheeseburger, it works. McDonald's lands here because it understands the formula and executes it consistently. It doesn't aim high, but it rarely fails. Number 5. Wendy's Cheeseburger. Wendy's has built its reputation on the idea of fresh, never frozen beef, and that alone gives their cheeseburger a noticeable advantage over many competitors. The patty has a firmer texture and a more pronounced beef flavor. It actually tastes like meat rather than just a carrier for salt and toppings. There's some juiciness here, especially compared to thinner, overcooked patties lower on the list. The bun is soft but sturdier than average. It holds together reasonably well and doesn't immediately collapse, which helps maintain structure throughout the burger. The cheese melts properly and integrates into the patty, adding creaminess without overpowering the beef. Combined with fresh toppings, the overall bite feels cleaner and less processed than most fast food cheeseburgers. Where Wendy's falls short is balance. Sometimes the toppings overpower the patty, and the seasoning can feel uneven depending on location. It's a good cheeseburger, but not perfectly dialed in every time. Still, Wendy's marks a clear turning point in the ranking. From here on, the burgers stop feeling cheap and start feeling intentional. Number 4. Five Guys Cheeseburger. Five Guys sits in an interesting space between fast food and fast casual, and their cheeseburger reflects that positioning. The patty is juicy, rich, and clearly beef-forward. It's thicker than traditional fast food patties and has a real satisfying chew. The beef flavor is the star here, not the toppings. The bun is soft but sturdy, designed to handle the grease and weight of the burger. It does get messy, but in a way that feels indulgent rather than sloppy. The cheese melts beautifully and blends into the meat, adding richness without masking flavor. Everything feels heavier, richer, and more filling than what you get from standard fast food. What keeps Five Guys out of the top 3 is consistency and value. The burgers are expensive compared to traditional fast food, and the experience can vary depending on how aggressively the burger is cooked and assembled. Still, when it's good, it's very good. This is a cheeseburger that feels like a real meal, not just a quick bite. Number 3. In-N-Out Burger Cheeseburger. In-N-Out has one of the most loyal fan bases in fast food, and their cheeseburger shows why. The patty is thin but cooked with precision. There's a light crust, solid seasoning, and a clean beef flavor that feels fresher than most competitors. It's not heavy, but it's satisfying. The bun is soft, lightly toasted, and perfectly proportioned. It supports the burger without overpowering it and stays intact from first bite to last. The cheese melts evenly and blends smoothly into the patty, creating a cohesive bite. Combined with fresh lettuce, tomato, and spread, the burger achieves balance, rich, fresh, and savory all at once. What makes In-N-Out stand out is consistency. The cheeseburger tastes nearly the same every time, and that reliability builds trust. It doesn't aim to be indulgent or oversized. Instead, it focuses on balance, freshness, and execution. And it succeeds. This is where the ranking shifts from good to genuinely impressive.
At this stage of the ranking, the conversation changes. We're no longer comparing burgers that are simply better than average. We're looking at cheeseburgers that feel deliberate, where every element exists for a reason. These are the places that respect the basics: beef, bun, cheese, and balance. No shortcuts, no distractions, just execution. Number 2. Culver's Butterburger Cheeseburger. Culver's quietly does something many fast food chains struggle with. It treats its cheeseburger like the core product, not a side item. The patty is noticeably thicker and juicier than most competitors. You immediately taste real beef flavor, properly seasoned, without being overwhelmed by salt or grease. There's a freshness here that stands out, especially compared to thinner, mass-produced patties. Cooking consistency is one of Culver's biggest strengths. The beef feels cooked to order rather than held and reheated. That alone elevates the experience. The bun plays a critical role. It's lightly buttered and toasted, adding richness without becoming heavy. It provides structure, holds up through the entire burger, and enhances flavor instead of getting in the way. The cheese melts evenly and integrates seamlessly with the patty. It doesn't dominate the burger. It supports it. Every bite feels cohesive, not layered. What truly sets Culver's apart is balance. Nothing feels excessive. nothing feels missing. The burger is filling without being greasy, rich without being overwhelming. Why isn't it number one? Availability and consistency across all locations. Not everyone has access to Culver's, and experiences can vary slightly depending on region. But when it's done right, this cheeseburger feels dangerously close to perfect. Number 1. Shake Shack Cheeseburger. Shake Shack earns the top spot because it delivers the most consistently complete cheeseburger experience in the fast food space. The patty is the foundation, and it shows. It's well seasoned, juicy, and cooked with precision. There's a real crust on the outside, locking in flavor while keeping the inside tender. This isn't accidental, it's controlled execution. The bun is soft, lightly toasted, and perfectly proportioned. It doesn't overwhelm the burger, and it doesn't disappear. It frames the patty instead of competing with it. The cheese melts cleanly and adds richness without heaviness. Combined with Shack sauce, the flavor profile becomes layered, savory, slightly tangy, and deeply satisfying without being greasy. Texture is where Shake Shack really wins. Every bite has contrast: soft bun, juicy beef, melty cheese, and crisp edges. Nothing collapses. Nothing feels sloppy. Yes, it costs more than traditional fast food, but the value becomes clear once you taste it. You're paying for consistency, ingredient quality, and execution, not branding alone. This is the cheeseburger that feels intentional from start to finish, the one that sets the standard. This experiment made one thing clear: fast food cheeseburgers don't fail because they're cheap. They fail because they stop caring about fundamentals. The worst burgers rely on habit, nostalgia, and convenience. The best ones focus on balance, texture, and execution. A great cheeseburger doesn't need gimmicks. It needs respect for the basics. And when a brand gets those basics right, consistently, it separates itself completely from the rest. That's the difference between a burger you forget and one you actually remember.